morning. Namaste to each of you. Thank you for joining me this morning to honor your mind and your body and your spirit. Let's just take a moment to become present. Find a nice, comfortable seated position where you are sitting on a block or towel or pillow, something that allows the back of your spine to sit nice and long and tall, opening up your chest and opening up your diaphragm and opening up your heart. Let's gently close our eyes and soften our thoughts. Soften our eyes. Soften our shoulders. Soften our heart. Observe your breath as it is, soft and gentle, breathing life into you with each inhale and relaxation with each exhale. Feel the grace of being present, returning to that awareness again and again. You may open your eyes now. For this morning's intention, you may think of a positive word or a phrase to have with you on your mat and perhaps carry with you throughout the day. This morning's intention I'd like to talk about is returning to the light. So tomorrow, around 10 a.m., is the winter solstice. It's the shortest day of the year, but it's long on traditions, all celebrating the end of darkness and the return to light. Yule, J-O-L, which we pronounce Yule, was a celebration of observing winter solstice and the rebirth of the sun. The sun's gradual return symbolizes renewal, hope, and the triumph of light over darkness. Many of the Yule traditions still exist. For example, in many European countries, a portion of the Yule log is burned each night from Christmas Eve to the 12th night. There's a lot of other celebrations at this time of year that involve either fire or candlelight. Last Sunday was Hanukkah, and that is the lighting of 8 candles over 8 days. On December 13th, last Saturday, it was St. Lucia Day, which is a Scandinavian or more specifically Swedish celebration. A young girl wearing a crown with candles, 4 to 8 candles in it, walking around town with baked goodies. Kwanzaa is the lighting of 7 candles over 7 days, always starting on December 26th. And then there's Advent, which is the lighting of 4 candles over 4 weeks leading up to Christmas to celebrate hope, peace, joy, and love. So in our celebration of solstice, we'll do a meditation that is a meditation of light. And it's just so great today. It's the first Saturday in a long time that the sun's actually out. So it'll help to warm us up. So if you sit with your hands in Anjali Mudra, the prayer pose, and then gently close your eyes and envision energy rising from the base of your spine, all the way up your spine and through the top of your head. Imagine this energy is like a warm white light beaming out to the sky. Gently inhale, raising your palms, your Anjali Mudra, past your face and slowly overhead into the beam of light. And ground yourself while reaching upward, creating space all through your body, creating lightness within your body. And then on an exhale, slowly extend your hands out and down, drawing that light out and around you as you bring your hands to rest alongside you. So you just have this beautiful arc of light surrounding you now. Feel a sense of being warmly enveloped as though you are in a cocoon of nourishing light. And stay in that light and savor the radiant, peaceful moment that you have. You may open your eyes now and we'll start our asana practice. I'll make my way to the mat. A little bit of the sun coming through. So nice. All right, let's start this morning with a few shoulder shrugs. We'll just kind of gently bring our shoulders up toward our ears and then relax them down, making a gentle circle, bringing them up, just unwinding any tension that may be sitting up on your shoulders today. You can reverse direction at any point. There we go. And then let's do what I like to call my seated sun breaths. So very appropriate today. We can do a lot of sun and stars and moon, a lot of light objects. So bringing your fingertips to the mat, we'll just gently inhale, bringing your hands up overhead. Nice, comfortable, slow pace. Big inhale. And then slowly lower your hands toward your heart. And then another big inhale, opening your hands to each side. Here comes the sun. Doo, doo, doo. And then closing your hands on the exhale. And then inhale up. And exhale down. And we'll do that 2 more times. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale open. Exhale close. Inhale up. And exhale down. And one last time. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale open. Exhale close. Inhale up. And envision that white light coming through your hands and then bringing your hands down, enveloping yourself in that nice, nourishing light. Okay, so whichever leg you have on the outside of your crossed legs, mine's right, I'm going to bring that knee up toward the sky and wrap my other arm around it, the opposite arm around it, and bring my free hand in back of my hips, twisting my torso to the right or left, whichever way you have your legs set up. Breathe into that. And then we'll come back to center and lie that leg beside the other one. Don't have your legs crossed, just put them side by side. And we're going to walk our hands out. Get myself nice and straight spine. Walk my hands forward until I get to kind of that sweet spot. And then I'm going to bring the elbows down toward the mat or the floor. And then try to bring my head down toward my arms. Nice, gentle movement, real gentle stretch. And breathe into this pose. And then we'll come back up and then walk our hands back to our feet, a straight spine. And then we'll switch legs. We'll take that opposite leg, bring the knee up to the sky, wrap the opposite arm around it, sending your other fingers back of your hips and twisting your torso to the side, sending your gaze straight ahead to the side. I don't know if that made sense, but sending your gaze, you're looking forward. And then we'll come back to center. And with that opposite leg out front and side by side with the other leg, we'll again walk our hands out in front. This time you may not be able to go quite as far, or maybe even further than the one other side. And then once you get to that sweet spot, you bring your elbows down toward the mat, and then bring your torso and head down toward the arms. And then raise yourself back up, coming from the darkness to the light, and walk your hands back. And then we'll come up onto our hands and knees into tabletop with our wrists right below our shoulders, knees right below the hips. Pressing down gently into your hands, having that equal distribution of weight. And we'll send our nose to the right and then gently flow it over to the left, going back to center and then over to the left. And then keep that flow going once you reach the left side and back to the right. Nice, slow, gentle movements, flowing back and forth. And we'll do that a couple more times and just come back to center when you're ready. And then we'll do a few cat-cows. So dropping our crown of our head down and our tailbone down, rolling our back and really stretching out that spine. And then inhale, lifting the head and tailbone up, sending the gaze straight ahead. And rounding the back again, dropping the crown and the tailbone down for cat. And then lifting the head and tailbone up for cow. And then back down for cat. And then back up for cow. And we'll do one more gentle movement of both cat and then cow. Then we'll extend the right leg down to the bottom. Or actually, first of all, let's kickstand our left foot out. That's the way I usually do it. Kickstand the left foot out. Keeping the left wrist right below the left shoulder. We're going to extend the right foot down to the bottom of the knee. We're going to do modified planks, but with a leg lift included. So we're going to sweep our right hand up to the sky, and as we sweep our hand up to the sky, we're going to bring our right leg up to the sky to about hip height. Doesn't have to go any further than that. And then bringing your hand and foot back down. We'll do this 2 more times. So sweeping the hand up to the sky, sweeping the leg up to hip height. And then back down. And one last time, sweeping the hand up, and the leg comes up. And then back down. Coming back down to tabletop. We'll do that on the other side. So kickstand your right foot out. Have your right wrist right below the right shoulder and extend the left foot down to the bottom of the mat. Then we'll sweep our left hand up to the sky, bringing our left leg up. And and then back down again. Slow movements with control. Sweeping the left hand slowly up, lifting the left leg slowly up, and then back down. And one last time. Sweeping the left hand slowly up to the sky, bringing the left leg up to hip height, really opening up, and then bringing both hand and foot back down. Coming back to tabletop. We'll extend our hips down to our ankles and extend our arms out forward for extended child pose. Just stretching our spine out. Then coming back up to tabletop, tucking our toes underneath, walking the hands back to come into a squat, and pushing down into our feet to come up to mountain pose. We'll bring our toes in line with the straight edge of the mat, and then lift the toes up off the mat, spreading them apart as far as you can, and then bringing toes back down, lifting the heels up off the mat, and then bringing the heels back down, really feeling that connection, that grounding that mountain pose provides. And then the essentials of good posture that mountain pose provides. So our legs are nice and straight and strong with a little bit of flex in our knees. Navel's tucked to the spine, really elongating the spine and the back of our neck. Shoulders are relaxed and rolled back. Chin's tucked back just slightly, really creating that nice long line, the back of our neck. Crown of our heads reaching to the sky. And then sweeping our hands up with a big inhale, up and over. And then we'll send our hands down to the mat, bending our knees as we go. Protect our lower back. And then we'll bring our hands to our shins and create a nice flat back. Again, a nice long spine, and the back of your neck is just one long line. Gaze is straight down. And then the crown of our head comes down toward the mat. We'll just let our hands dangle here. Let gravity take over for a few minutes. And just check in with ourselves. How are we doing today? Mentally, physically, spiritually? Is there any darkness that we need to send light to today? And we'll sweep our hands all the way up overhead. And as they come up overhead, we're going to come up onto our tippy toes. And then slowly lower our hands again. And as we lower our hands, we'll lower our heels back down to the mat. And then we'll do that 2 more times, sweeping our hands up. Slowly coming up onto our tippy toes. Really stretching up to the sky. And then slowly coming back down. Lowering our heels back down. And one last time. Sweeping your hands up. Slowly coming up and up and up. Hands reaching toward the sun, the stars, the moon, and then coming back down. Our hands come down, our heels come down. We bend our knees and send our hands all the way down to the mat. And inhale, hands come to the shin, nice flat back for half forward fold. Crown of the head reaches down toward the mat. And then we'll sweep our hands all the way up overhead again, bringing our palms together. Then supported side stretch, we'll bring the right hand down to the thigh and slide it down toward our right knee, tilting our torso over to the right. And then inhaling, bringing that hand back up, palms come together, and then the left hand drops down to the thigh, sliding that hand down toward the knee, tilting the torso to the left. And then bringing that hand back up, overhead, palms come together. Right palm comes down one last time, sliding the hand toward the knee. And then back up again. Palms together, and then left palm to the left thigh, sliding it down toward the knee. And then coming back up again. Palms come together, and then palms come down to the mat, bending our knees as we go. And then bringing our hands to our shins for a half forward fold, nice flat back. And then we're going to bring the left hand down to the mat, bending our left knee towards our left arm, and keeping our right leg just a little straight. Again, bend, keep that flex in your knee, that bend in your knee, just gentle bend. And then sweeping the right hand all the way up to the sky, following it with your gaze. And then bringing that hand back down. And we'll switch sides. So the right hand comes down to the mat, placed in front of the right foot. Right knee is bent toward the right arm. Left leg is straight, but with a little flex in the knee. And then we'll sweep our left hand all the way up to the sky, following it with our gaze. And then back down again. And then we'll take both hands and sweep them all the way up, bringing the hands overhead. Palms come together, and palms come to heart center, and then palms come to the back of the hips for a supported back bend. So our feet are about hip width apart. Palms are on our hips, fingertips pointing down toward the mat. Spine nice and straight. Shoulders are relaxed and rolled back. Chin is tucked toward your chest this time. And then we'll just drop our shoulders back till you find that sweet spot where you can feel your breath nice and strong and even breaths, inhaling and exhaling. And then we'll bring ourselves back up to mountain pose. And moving right along. Alrighty. So we'll do a couple of sun salutations. So there's 3 varieties, and we're going to just do sun salutation A. We'll do that a couple times, then go into another part of the sequence. So inhaling, lifting our hands up overhead, really stretching up to the sky. And then exhale, both hands come down, bending your knees as you go. Both hands land on the mat. We'll extend both feet back, come into plank pose. The shoulders are right above the wrists are right below the shoulders. Heels are pushed back, navel's tucked to the spine, the hips are elevated slightly so there's no saggy tummy. And you can come down to the mat, either knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga, keeping your elbows tucked to your side. And then our fingertips are right below our shoulders, elbows tucked to the side. We'll lift the chin and the chest up, gently pressing into our hands, coming into cobra. And then tucking our toes under, we're going to lift our hips up to the sky, coming into downward dog. And we'll pedal out here for a moment. Our arms nice and straight. Chest is reaching toward our thighs, sending the hips up to the sky. And then we'll slowly walk our feet up to our hands, little baby steps, till we get to forward fold. And then we'll bring our hands to our shins, half forward fold. Nice straight back. And then fingertips come down to the mat, crown of the head comes down, forward fold. And then we'll sweep our hands all the way up overhead. Palms come together. Palms come to heart center. And we'll do that again. So again, bringing our hands all the way up overhead, really reaching up to the sky. And then bringing our hands down to the mat, bending our knees as we go. The hands land on the mat, and we'll send both feet to the back of the mat, coming into plank pose. And again, you can knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga, down, keeping your elbows toward your ribs. And the fingertips right below your shoulders. We'll lift the chin and the chest up, gently pushing down in your hands, coming into cobra. And then we'll tuck our toes under, lift our hips up to the sky, coming into downward dog. We'll pedal out here for a few moments. Walk your dog in a nice sunny day. And then we'll slowly walk the feet up to the hands. And then bring our hands to our shins for half forward fold. And then send the crown of our head down toward the mat for forward fold. Then sweep our hands all the way up, bring them overhead. Palms come together, and palms come to heart center. And then we're going to open up to the side of the mat. So we'll come into a wide-legged stance where our big toes are pointing to the corners of the mat and heels are tucked in about 45-degree angle. And we're going to bring our arms up overhead, creating a star. And then we'll bend our knees and lower our arms just to shoulder height. We'll do that a few more times. As we straighten our legs, we'll bring our arms back up to star position. And then we'll lower by bending our knees, lowering our arms down, shoulder height. And then back up again. And one last time. Lowering our hands down, bending our knees, maybe coming down a little bit further than we did the other times. And then bringing our hands back up to star, lowering our arms to shoulder height, and then pivoting our feet to the left, coming into warrior two. So our knees right above our ankle, back foot's nice and snug in the mat. Our gaze is on our left fingertips. Just feel the nice strength of this pose. Then we'll straighten our front leg and then send our hand, our left hand, forward to reach and then drop it down to create triangle pose. And then coming back up, back to warrior two. And then we'll bring our left forearm to our left thigh, sending our right arm up to the sky, sending our gaze up to our right hand. And then we'll bring our right hand down to the mat, pivoting on our foot, coming into runner's lunge. And this pose, we're going to go into half moon, but you choose where you would like to be in half moon. So with our hands, with us in warrior two, runner's lunge, our hands are kind of framing our foot. We're going to walk them forward a little bit, coming up and lifting our leg up to the sky. And you may want to just stay there, or you may want to raise your right arm up and twist your torso to the right, coming into half the maybe not. So you can release from that pose. And then bring your right foot to join your left foot. Come into forward fold. And then bring your hands all the way up overhead. Palms come together. And palms come to heart center. Great. We'll do that on the other side. So sweeping our hands up, we'll start with a few sun salutations and then bringing them all the way down to the mat, bending your knees. And then once your hands have landed, send your feet out to the bottom of the mat, coming into plank pose. And then lowering down, knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga. Fingertips are right below your shoulders. Lift your chin and chest up. Gently push, coming into cobra. And we'll tuck our toes under, lift the hips up to downward dog, and pedal out here for a moment. And then slowly walk our feet up to our hands, coming into forward fold. And then bringing our hands to our shins, half forward fold. And then fingertips down toward the mat, crown of the head down towards the mat. And then sweeping our hands all the way up, bringing them overhead. Palms come together, and palms come to heart center. And we'll do one more of the sun salutation A. So sweeping our hands all the way up again, reaching for the sky, reaching for the sun, and then bringing our hands down to the mat, bending our knees as we go. Palms both come onto the mat. We'll send both feet back, coming into plank pose. And then slowly lowering down to the mat. And then we'll lift our chin and the chest, gently pressing into our hands, coming into cobra. And then tucking your toes under, coming into downward dog. And we'll pedal out here for a moment again. And slowly walk our tippy toes up to our hands, bringing our hands to our shins, creating a nice flat back and half forward fold. And sending the crown of our head down toward the mat. And sweeping our hands all the way up overhead. Palms come together. And palms come to heart center. And we'll once again come into that wide-legged stance. We'll create our stars. So the toes are pointed to the corners. Heels are tucked in 45 degrees. We'll sweep our hands up to the sky, creating a beautiful star, this starlight. And then lowering our arms to shoulder height, bending our knees as we go. And then lifting our arms back up to the star, straightening out our legs as we go. And then we'll lower our hands down again to shoulder height, bending our knees, maybe going down a little bit deeper into our squat. And then back up again, back to star. And one last time, lowering our hands, bending our knees, coming into a nice star shape kind of squat. And then back up to the star. We'll lower our arms to shoulder height, pivoting our feet to the right, coming into warrior two on the other side. And scoot yourself into your favorite warrior two. Torsos in line with the long edge of the mat. Sending our gaze to our right fingertips. Then we'll straighten out our front leg. Reach our right hand forward and then down into triangle pose. Sending our gaze up to our left fingertips. And then back up to warrior two. And then we'll take our right forearm, place it on our right thigh, sweeping our left hand up to the sky, sending our gaze up. And then we'll bring the left hand down to the mat, pivoting into runner's lunge. Into runner's lunge. Then we'll walk our fingers forward, lifting our back leg up, off the mat. And you can stay here, or you can join me in half moon by sweeping your left hand up to the sky, turning your torso toward the outside, and then release. Bringing your left foot to join your right foot, coming into forward fold, and sweeping your hands all the way up overhead. Palms come together, palms come to heart center. Then we'll come into our wide-legged squat by bringing our pinky toes to the edges of the mat, tucking our heels in 45 degrees. Palms come together, Anjali Mudra at your heart. And then we'll lower our hips down toward the mat, bringing our arms and torso between our legs. Elbows are resting on the inner part of our knees. And you can send your hands down a little bit further toward the mat, really stretching out. And then we'll come sit down on the mat and we'll roll down. Today I'm gonna just keep my knees bent, arms out, and slowly roll down so I feel every vertebra hit the mat. And once you've landed, you can bring your knees to your chest and just rock back and forth. Give your lower back a nice little massage. And where we had the sun and the stars and the half moon, of course, we need the full moon. So you take your toes and draw big circles of the full moon. You take your toes and draw a circle one way. And then when you're ready, you can reverse the circle. And then we'll bring both feet down to the mat. We'll place both hands alongside our torso, palms facing down. We'll use this to support us. And our feet are a little wider than hip width, but not all the way out to the edge of the mat. We'll do a few windshield wipers here. So gently lowering your knees to one side, and then with a nice gentle flow, bringing them back up and over to the other side and down. And then just continue that nice gentle flow back and forth. One side to the other. And then when you reach back to center, you can tuck your heels a little bit closer to your hips, and we'll go into some bridges. So the arms are still alongside with palms facing down. Our knees are parallel to one another. We'll kind of take a cat-cow approach to this. So we're going to tuck our navel to our spine, creating a nice bowl for the cat. And then we'll arch our back slightly for the cow. And then we'll again tuck our navel to the spine, creating the bowl for the cat. And then pushing down into our feet to all of our feet, the heels, will gently lift our hips up toward the sky, keeping our gaze straight up to the sky. And then slowly lowering down and trying to feel each vertebra as we come down, back down to the mat. And once you've landed, we'll do that again. So again, tuck your navel to your spine, creating that bowl for cat. And then slowly and gently arch lower back for cow. And then again, tuck your navel to the spine, creating the bowl for cat. And then pushing down into your feet, raising your hips toward the sky. See if you get a little bit higher this time. Maybe start to tuck your shoulders underneath so you gain a little bit more height. And then slowly, again, connecting to the mat as you come down, lowering your hips, connecting your spine with the mat. We'll do that one last time. So tucking your navel in for cat. And then a little bit of arch for cow. Again, tucking your navel in for cat and pushing down your feet, lifting your hips up to the sky, bridging the night with the day. And then when you're ready, slowly lowering down and reconnecting to the mat, reconnecting to the earth. We'll bring our knees to our chest again and just kind of rock and roll, massage the lower back. Bring your arms out at shoulder height. We'll drop the knees over to the right side. Sending the gaze to your left fingertips. And then bringing your head back to center and then lifting your legs back to center. Slowly lower your knees to the left side. And when they've landed, you can slowly turn your gaze to your right fingertips. And then slowly turn your head back to center. Lift your legs back to center. And send your feet down to the bottom of the mat, preparing for Shavasana. Sending your heels out to each corner. Bringing your arms toward your torso, flipping your palms so they're facing up to the sky, up to the sun, up to the stars, up to the moon. And just inhale, and then deep exhale through your mouth, releasing your body into the moon, into the earth. Inhale again. And exhale, releasing gently into the mat. Placing a gentle smile on your lips. And I have for you today, the end of our class, the winter solstice blessing. May you find peace in the promise of the solstice night, that each day forward is blessed with more light, that the cycle of nature, unbroken and true, brings faith to your soul and well-being to you. Rejoice in the darkness, in the silence, find rest, and may the days that follow be abundantly blessed.